Have you ever had that feeling where your life just seems to be, well, falling apart? Maybe it's subtle, maybe it's not so subtle. Today, we're going to dive into some profound ideas from Carl Jung that suggest this feeling, it might actually be the start of something incredible.
Let's just start right here with this idea. For Jung, there really are no coincidences. So if you're here, watching this, feeling that strange sense of confusion or that something is shifting deep down, that's not random. Think of it as a signal, a little ping from your own psyche telling you that you're ready for what's next.
And this is the absolute core of it all. It's about reframing everything. That feeling of chaos, of totally losing your way, it's not a breakdown. It's the sound of an old, protective shell cracking open. And yeah, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, but it's the very first step toward a really powerful awakening.
So what does this cracking shell actually feel like? Well, the first stage is all about just recognizing it. It's about learning to see that the discomfort you're feeling isn't some kind of failure. Nope, it's a signal that your old self, the one that's a bit outdated now, is finally making way for something way more authentic.
Do any of these hit a little close to home? These are the flare guns your unconscious sends up. It can feel like you're trying to wear a shirt that's suddenly way too tight, or that anxiety that just pops up out of nowhere for no good reason. And that feeling when you look at old goals and just feel nothing? That's not you being lazy. That's your soul saying, hey, we're done here. That chapter's over.
And believe it or not, this whole process actually has a name in Jungian psychology: ego death. I know it sounds terrifying, right? But it's not as scary as it sounds. It just means that a version of you, a mask, a persona you've probably worn for a long, long time, has done its job. It served its purpose. It's simply time for an upgrade.
Okay, so if this change is so good for us, why on earth is it so incredibly hard? It's because we get caught in this massive tug of war. So let's look at why we're basically addicted to our old selves and why the pull of what's familiar can keep us feeling so stuck.
This right here, this is the central conflict. Our brains are literally wired to prefer what's predictable, what's familiar, even if it's painful. The old self is safe, It's like a song you know all the words to. But the new self, that's a wide open space. It's full of potential for sure, but it's also full of terrifying uncertainty. We're stuck choosing between an outdated program and a much-needed system reboot.
And let's be clear, this addiction to the old self is not a personal failing. It's a survival mechanism. These are behaviors and beliefs you picked up as a kid to stay safe, to feel loved, to just get by. But that old operating system, it just can't run the new, complex software your life demands today.
Jung absolutely nailed this resistance. He knew that we have this deep, often totally unconscious drive to avoid the discomfort of really looking inward. It's why we'll cling to a relationship that's not working or a job we hate. We'll do anything to stick with the familiar pain, just to avoid the scary open water of our own soul.
All right, so if we need to let go of this old ego, what are we actually shedding? Let's get really specific here and break down some of the common false layers that might be holding you back from being who you really are.
See if you can spot yourself in any of these. Are you the warrior who got you through some tough times, but now maybe blocks real connection? Or the perfectionist who's just terrified of being judged for any mistake? Maybe you're the self-shrinker who learned that being quiet was safer than speaking up. Or the role player whose whole identity is wrapped up in being the good son, or the helpful friend, or the perfect employee.
And this is so important to remember. Shedding these layers is not about losing yourself. Not at all. It's about taking off a costume that just doesn't fit anymore. You're not destroying a part of you. You're just outgrowing an old form of protection to make room for your real identity to finally breathe.
So recognizing these layers is a huge first step, but just knowing about them isn't enough, right? Real change takes action. So now let's get practical. Let's look at the psychological rituals that can actually help you build that bridge from knowing you need to change to actually transforming.
Think of this as your roadmap. First, just watch. Instead of beating yourself up, just notice, oh, there's that old pattern again. Then question it. Is that voice saying, I'm not enough, really yours, or is it an echo of someone else? Next, try something tiny and new. If you're always quiet, say one thing. And when that feels uncomfortable, and it will, lean into it. That feeling is the feeling of growth. And finally, thank that old part of you. It kept you safe. Acknowledging that allows you to gently let it go.
Okay, so what's on the other side of all this hard work?
For our last section, let's explore what life actually looks like after this rebirth. And that includes some surprising challenges, but also some really profound gifts.
Now, this is a tough one, but it's so important to know. When you change, the whole system of relationships around you gets a little shaky. People who were comfortable with the old, predictable you might get weird. Your growth can actually feel like a threat to them. And you might hear them say, "You've changed," not as a compliment, but as a complaint.
But here's the magic. As some doors close, other, unexpected ones just seem to open. This is where Jung's amazing idea of synchronicity comes into play. You start noticing these meaningful coincidences. You're thinking about a new path, and suddenly you run into someone who does that exact thing for a living. The right book or conversation just appears when you need it. It's like the universe starts rearranging itself to support the new, more authentic you.
So ultimately, this is the trade-off. You might lose the easy comfort of the crowd, but what you gain is this powerful connection to your own center. What might feel like a loss on the surface is actually your life just becoming more accurate. It's shedding everything that no longer fits to become more real and more aligned with who you truly are.
And that brings us to the final and most empowering truth of it all. This entire journey isn't about destroying yourself to invent some new person. It's about clearing away all the junk so that the person you've always been deep down can finally step forward. So the question isn't just about what you're letting go of. The real question is, who will you finally allow to emerge?